recently attended FlipCon in Charlotte, North Carolina. For a recap of our experience, check out our video, We Got Lucky at FlipCon. But while we were gone for 4 days, we turned our eBay store on away mode. But we still allowed buyers to buy items from us. And we sold more things than we thought we would. And this past week, August 6th through 12th, we actually met our sales goal of profiting $1,000 in 1 week. And we were so surprised that that happened when we were actually out of town. So let's go over all of the things that we sold and find out how we earned that money. If you're new here, my name is Wendy and this is Nina's Jewels. My husband and I buy things at garage sales, thrift stores, anywhere we can find things to sell online and flip for a profit. If that's content you're interested in, you're in the right place. If you find anything helpful or informative in this video, we would really appreciate it if you would hit the like button and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on. Let's get started and find out what we sold. The first thing we sold was a vintage set of 3 rhinestone costume jewelry. It had a necklace, earrings, and a brooch. This was actually handed down to me from a family member, and I just no longer use this, so I had no cost of goods. This sold for a full asking price of $19.99. Next up was a Columbia men's button-up, kind of a Hawaiian-esque, but kind of toned down shirt. It was brand new with the tags. We got it at an estate sale, and it sold for a best offer of $22.22. Next up was a vintage galvanized metal with flannel sides Boy Scouts canteen. We found this at an estate sale for $6 and it sold for a full asking price of $39.99. And funnily enough, funnily, is that a word? I don't know. Anyways, we actually ended up finding this exact same thing like the next week in the bins. But the one we found in the bins had a plastic lid. It was just really weird that we found those back to back. The other one hasn't sold yet. Next up was a pair of Nike Air Max 2090s. They were black and gold shoes. They just looked, special to me, like something somebody would want. So I looked them up when we were at a garage sale and they were worth something. But the ones that we got did have some damage on the gold swoosh. So we did sell them at a lower price than some of the ones that were in a lot better condition. But they sold really, really fast. We had paid $5 for them and they sold on offer to buyer, or actually best offer, of $37.11. Next up was a 156-piece micro builder toy set. It was like micro Legos, but not Lego brand. We got this. This was brand new in the package. We got this when we were doing retail arbitrage. It was not a good buy. It took forever to sell, but we did make money on it. We actually got this so long ago that I don't even know what we spent on it because at the time we picked this up, I wasn't putting information in my spreadsheet, but I think we paid maybe around like $1.50 for it. It sold for a full asking price of $11.99. Next up was a vintage signed print. It was like a calligraphy kind of inspirational style print that was on the subject of music. It just had a bunch of different calligraphy writing on it, and that's what the art looked like. It was by an artist named Rachel Joy Colvin, and it was from 1990. We got this from another business that we own, which is a custom picture frame shop, and we have multiple copies of this print. This one sold for $19.98 on offer to buyer. Next up was another print that we also got from the other business that we own. This one had a lot higher value. This one was called Carson's Boatyard by the artist Tom Lavelle, and it was signed and numbered and had a certificate of authenticity. We sold this one for $179.99. That was our full asking price. It did take a while to sell. Art sometimes does. It is definitely what I would call a long tail item, but you can make a lot of money on certain pieces of art. Next up was an item that we got doing retail arbitrage, and it was just such a gross, weird item that I knew it would sell, and it sold pretty fast. The brand was Jaru, and it was called a Zit Face Pimple Popping Joke Toy. It was like a novelty kind of gag gift thing. It was, if I'm remembering exactly, I think it was a like kind of a rubberized face, and then it had a tube of creamy substance in it that you would squirt into the face, and then it had zits all over the face that you would then pop. It was like a one-time use toy. It was really gross. But I did pick it up. It was on clearance. It was the only one left. The packaging had some damage, but we actually sold this for our full asking price of $18.99. It went overseas somewhere through the eBay international shipping program, and we had paid just $2.17 for that. So if I ever see anything that's like really gross like that, a toy that's really gross like that, I'm going to pick it up because I think that was what made it sell. Next up was a 2016 Schleich Brachiosaurus dinosaur figure. Schleich is a brand to be on the lookout for. Some of their figures sell for really high, especially if they're vintage. The newer figures don't always sell for that much, but Schleich is a brand that we stay on the lookout for. It sells well. This one we got in the Goodwill bins for just $1.03, and it sold really fast for $20 even on best offer. Next up was a pack of 2 of Arm & Hammer spin brush replacement toothbrush heads. We found these at a garage sale. Someone seemed like they were maybe into couponing and had a bunch of them. We bought all of them, and I think this might be the last one that sold. We had paid just 50 cents for this, and it sold for $14.99. If you can find new in-package health and beauty items that don't have an expiration date and get them for a cheap price, that is something good to pick up, because items like this have to be replenished by the customer. It's not a use forever kind of item. So that is something to pick up if you can get for the right price, because people will have to replace their items after a while. Next up was a 2010 Transformers Speedstars Stealth Force Knockout Tricycle. This was a newer Transformer, but we pick up most Transformers that we find if we can get them in the bins or something like that, because they do sell. This one we got in the bins for $1.03, and it sold for a best offer of $10. So not tons of profit there, but it was a quick mover. Next up was a 2003 American Girl doll branded limited edition Radiant Rhinestones holiday dress outfit. It had a dress, a coat, the tights, the shoes. I think originally it might have come with a purse that we didn't have, but we had the almost complete outfit, and it was in perfect condition. We got this when we picked up a very valuable American Girl doll at a garage sale, and we got the doll in the box, but there were also a bunch of American Girl doll clothes and accessories inside the box as well. So I separated the doll out and then sold the clothes separately. And I think we had paid $10 in total for everything. But I had this item on our spreadsheet at $1, and it sold for $34.38 on offer to buyer. And that was found at a garage sale. Next up was a U.S. Air Force King James version of a pocket Bible from 1957. We got this at a thrift store for just 51 cents, and this Bible sold for a full asking price of $24.99. Next up was a Beanie Baby. Yes, we sold a Beanie Baby. We did not source this one. I mean, we did source it, but we didn't source it on purpose. We saw that there was somebody on Facebook Marketplace giving away a big bag of plush, and they said, whoever wants to come pick it up, it's yours for free. So of course I went and got that because it was free merchandise, and we've sold multiple things from that bag, but this has been in our store for a very long time. This one took a long time to sell, but we listed everything because we had no cost involved with it, and we're just trying to eke out the most profit from that pickup. This was a 2013 Thai Beanie Baby My Little Pony Twilight Sparkle plush, and it still had the original tag on it. We had no cost with this, and it sold on a best offer of $7.50. Next up was an 80-pack of Yahtzee replacement scorecards. They were new in the package. They did have some shelfware on the packaging. We found these in the bins for just 92 cents, and these sold for a full asking price of $10.99. Next up was a great sale. This was a vintage Tascam RC450C CD player corded remote control for a TIAC or TEAC, not sure how you say that, CD player. We got this at a garage sale for $5, and although it took a while to sell and might have had it overpriced, we finally accepted an offer of $66.48. And actually, I think we made that offer. and that was a really good profit on that. Next up was a lot of 3 McDonald's 2020 Happy Meal toys from the movie Space Jam: New Legacy. We got these out of a thrift store toy bag, and if you've ever watched one of our videos before, you know that we always list everything that we can from a thrift store toy bag to try to maximize our profits, and the weirdest things sell. This we paid just 43 cents for, and it sold for our full asking price of $12.99. Next up was a Rat Pack poster of the Rat Pack playing billiards. And this came from the other business that we own. I think this had been in the store for years. I think somebody brought it in to have it framed, left it, never ended up having it framed, and never came back for it. And probably despite our efforts to contact them, they just left it there. So we had no cost with this, and this sold for our full asking price of $22.99. Next up was a lot of 2, I think this must be a streetwear brand. It just looked interesting. We got these out of a storage unit, and there were 2 t-shirts by this brand, Obey Propaganda. And so I decided to list these together. They did have some damage. They were not in perfect condition, but they just seemed like something that somebody might be interested in if they were interested in this brand. And it was not something that I could find very much information on when I tried to research it. So I thought it might be kind of like a specialty item that somebody is looking for and couldn't find anywhere else. So I did decide to list it. These we got out of the storage unit. Our cost of goods was just 23 cents, and they sold for our full asking price of $24.99. They did take a while to sell, but somebody came along and paid full price for them, so it probably was something really specific they were looking for. Next up was a pair of women's Tom's black suede lace-up desert wedge ankle boots. I got these a long time ago at a garage sale where I paid a bulk price and then listed everything. We've made lots and lots of money on that garage sale. We got a couple of vintage t-shirts there, but I actually kept these shoes for personal use for a while and wore them and decided I didn't want them anymore and sold those for $15 even on best offer. Next up was a vintage 1944 baby book, and it was unused and in the box. I could not believe I found a 1944 baby book that didn't have any writing in it. It was really surprising. I found this at an estate sale for $5, and this sold for a best offer of $49.99. Next up was a really cute 6-inch ceramic birdhouse in the shape of a mushroom. The brand was Hobby Lobby. Mushroom stuff can sell really well depending on what it is. So I had looked at this and asked how much it was, and it was only 25 cents. So I decided to buy it because our cost of goods was so low and I knew it would eventually sell. It didn't move super fast, but we sold it on our full asking price of $29.99. And I thought that was a really good return on investment. Next up was a pair of FitFlops. FitFlops is a brand that moves super fast for us. And these were black Lunetta patent jeweled sandals. We got these at a garage sale for $2, and these sold on best offer for $22 even. Next up was a sale. I was really surprised at how much this was worth. We purchased a big lot of photography equipment at a rummage sale. We paid $50 for all of the equipment altogether, and we have made a killing on it. It has been a great, great purchase. But within that lot of stuff that we bought was a can of compressed air, and it was a vintage can by the brand Dust Off. And it had this really fancy chrome nozzle on the top of it. And the can of air was empty. It didn't have any more compressed air in it. But my husband said, you know what, look up that nozzle head because that might surprise you. And he was so right. That nozzle head sold for $24.99 for our full asking price. And our cost of goods was just $1 on that. Next up was another lot from that same purchase. This was a lot of 7 darkroom equipment items. It had a squeegee, it had thermometers, it had a measuring cup. It had several different things, and these were kind of the leftovers after we listed everything that didn't have enough value to be listed on their own, so I just made a big lot of equipment. This sold for $24.99 also. That was our full asking price, and our cost of goods was just $1 for all of it. Next up was a vintage mid-century modern trash can. It was by the brand Reflections. It was in excellent condition and it had an atomic starburst pattern all over it. I almost kept this for myself. It was so cool, but I decided to list it. We paid $2 for this at an estate sale and it sold on offer to buyer for $37.48. Next up was a 50th anniversary collector's edition of a hardcover copy of The Hobbit, and it had a slipcover. It was a really fancy version. We found this at a thrift store for $3.24. It sold super fast for an offer to buyer of $31.98. Next up was a Delta Valdosta two-handle widespread bathroom faucet in bronze. We found this at a garage sale for $5 and the faucet looked completely unused, but it was missing the drain piece. And I have a feeling they purchased it just for that piece and then didn't use any of the other items. So we listed it with that disclosed and it sold for our full asking price of $74.99. Next up was a lot of 2 pickleball paddles. And pickleball paddles are a Bolo item. Pickleball is super popular right now and they are selling fast. We've now sold 4 pickleball paddles. Some of the ones that we picked up at a garage sale, not these, but some other ones we picked up at a garage sale were really valuable. These were a less expensive brand, but these sold super fast too. We got these at a thrift store for $4.31 and these sold really fast for $24 on best offer. Next up, I'll go over all of the collectible cards that sold from my husband's personal collection. First, I'm going to go over all of our cards that sold that were valued at $10 or over, our high value cards. We sold 3 high value cards this week. The first one was a Magic the Gathering Unlimited card, and the name of the card was Word of Command. This sold for $212.50 on auction. Next up was another Magic the Gathering Unlimited card. This one was called Vesuvan or Vesuvan, I'm not sure how you say it, Doppelganger. And this one sold for $224.48 on auction. Next up was another Magic the Gathering Unlimited card. This one was called Fork. This one also sold on auction for $83.55. And last, I'm going to go over all of the low value cards that sold, and that means cards that are valued at $10 or under. This week we sold 4 cards in total for a total dollar amount of $16.37. Now let's go over the totals for this week. This week we sold 36 for an average sale price of $40.91. Our sales totaled $1,472.87, and that made for a net profit of $965.18, just shy of our $1,000 goal. So we're super happy about that because we were out of town for 4 days and we continued to have sales, really strong sales during those days that we were gone. But that wraps up the video for the sales for the week of August 6th through 12th. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and found it helpful, entertaining, or informative in any way, please make sure to hit that like button and share this video out with other people who might find it interesting or helpful. Thank you so much for joining, and we will catch you on the flip side.